Hi kids, Mrs. Luke's here. Last week we were working on gesture drawings and you guys had the chance to post for your friends, and hopefully you got your family members involved and you did some poses with them. We're going to be using those gesture drawings that you drew last time to create your actual final piece today, okay? Now, you're going to need at least 4 options. So if you only got like 2 or 3 drawn, you do want to take the time to plan out, that 4th one. Or, if you've got something that maybe like wasn't one of your favorite ones that you did, then you can always go in and, you can add a different one on there if you want to add a different one. This person here, she's going to like have her leg bending up here. Maybe her arm will go up this way. She'll come down and this way. So I'm giving myself different options of different figures that I want to pick to draw from. After you have those options, or maybe you even have like 6 on here, decide on your top 4. Pick the ones out that you like the best, because what's going to happen here is on the next page, we're going to break our paper into 4 boxes. Now, I don't have a ruler in front of me. Maybe you do. If you want to use a ruler to kind of divide up the paper, you can divide it up with a ruler. I just loosely sketched those 4 boxes. When you go to plan out your figures, all right, you can either plan them this way so it's vertical. If you want to choose and turn your sketchbook so it's horizontally this way, that's fine. It's up to you. It's your choice. But what you're going to do is you're going to be drawing 4 separate figures on these boxes. Couple things when you do this. Number 1 is that you want to draw big. Okay, so when you draw, you want to draw big. So if you, here, look at it. I'm going to do like the opposite example. If I draw this little bitty figure that's down here like this, look at it, he actually has kind of like an angry pose. He's like, hey, I'm too small. Look at all this space that's around me that you should be filling up. So you want to make sure that you're drawing big. Now, my hands are definitely bigger than this box, but I would say for you guys, because your hands are much smaller than mine, try to make your figure about the size of your hand, all right? So as I'm going through, when I'm drawing, I will make this guy, he won't have angry arms. He'll have his arms kind of out to the side like this. So look what I'm doing here. I'm filling up my space in my box here. See the difference here? Little guy, big guy. Make sure that they're kind of around the size of your hand, that they're filling up that space. Some of you too, when you're drawing, you might still like to put that stick figure in first, which is fine. Not a big deal if you put that stick figure in. So if I'm drawing, and look, I'm going to draw nice and big, but say I'm putting in my stick figure. This guy here, we'll make him, I don't know, he's like leaping or something, maybe like gymnastics. So not only have I made him big, but I started with a stick figure. Now I'm starting to trace, going around my figure here. Let's trace this hand, come back, come down. He's a gymnast. Maybe he's in the splits, or maybe he's doing a leap. Okay, so once I get this figure on, now that I still have the skeleton here, I need to erase it out because we don't want to have any details on the inside. If you remember from Keith Haring's video, there's a lack of details. There's a lack of facial features. Like there's no faces on these guys. There's no shoes on them. There's no accessories on them or things like that. It is literally just almost like a bubble figure. Okay. So, and then in the last one here, all right, so we're going to draw big. Do not draw small. So we need to erase the stick figure. And then last but not least, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you draw movement marks. So here's my guy going here. I don't know, he's kind of doing like a silly dance, I guess. So once I get him on, he's nice and big. Now I'm starting to add movement marks to my figure like this, okay? So this is kind of like my practice one here. If you want to do a practice one first, you can do a practice one. You're welcome to do something like this. If you think, Mrs. Luke's, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I've got this. Then what you could do is you could just do, those 4 sketches on your own paper. So again, I'm like loosely going through here. I'm going to divide up my paper. into 4 boxes, kind of like this. And then I'm gonna start planning out my 4 figures. Here's my number 1. And then after I finish them, what do I need to add? Movement marks, right? So I'm gonna go in, add my movement marks there. This guy here, he'll be my grumpy guy. He'll have his like hands on his hips and he's like, hey, don't forget to add my movement marks. All right, so we're gonna put those there. And then this guy here, I always kind of like a little disco-y guy. So he's coming up. He's singing Staying Alive in his head, or maybe he's singing YMCA. I don't know. He's disco dancing. And then my last one here, this one I'm gonna focus more on his legs. Look at, maybe he's like a karate guy. And here he goes. He's like, hey, he's coming out at you this way. Coming up this way too. So notice I have 4 figures. I have drawn them nice and big. Remember, they're about the size of my hand. And I've added movement marks to each of them. Each one of these figures tells a story, which, you know, you kind of heard as I was explaining when I was going through, like this guy was disco dancing. This guy's karate. This guy is, you know, he's kind of grumpy. And this guy, maybe he is, you know, getting ready to, you know, do a dance or something. I'm not sure what he's doing. But each one of these tells a different story. You want to make sure the 4 figures, the 4 characters you have are telling a story. When you're done with your 4 figures, see if you have either like a Sharpie, a black pen, a black crayon, you know, even a black colored pencil. Find something that you can go in and you can actually start outlining your figures. So I'm going through my guys here. Now, I know I'm not going to do the movement marks yet. I'm going to do them all the way at the end. I'm going to go through my figures first, making them how I want them to look. And remember, if you draw the skeleton on the inside first, that's fine. No big deal. Some of you feel more comfortable if you're doing something like that. Just make sure that if you do those, that you go back in and of course, you know, you erase them out of your figure. So here we go. Creating each story with every figure that I draw. You know, maybe you think about your story. I know you drew other people, but you know, can you show your story? Are you a gymnast? Are you a dancer? Are you a football player? You know, do you swim? Do you do cheerleading? Can you make one that's posing like they're in a cheer? What can you do to tell a story and create that culture within your picture? Now, don't forget, go back in, and I'm tracing and folding out my lines here in the middle. At this point, we're gonna stop here for today, okay? We'll talk about how to color and how to decorate these next time, but for today, you wanna get those 4 sketches done. You want them to be nice and big, about the size of your hand. Make sure that you're adding movement marks, erase out any skeletons that are on the inside, and then trace, you know, those 4 box lines so that way you have the 4 of them on there together. All right, I can't wait to see what you do. If you have any questions, make sure that you ask your art teacher. And then when you're done, of course, post them to Seesaw. See you guys later.